Hey everybody, welcome back. So have a pickups video to do today and just wanted to actually start off with just one quick sort of life update, for lack of a better term. So as some of you know from the video I posted earlier this year, and obviously I've talked about it a bit also in my flashback weekend video, obviously it's been kind of a hard year and I was sort of eating my feelings, as the saying goes, but I did kind of reach the point where I was put on a little weight, and I did get to the point where I did need to stop. So I'm trying to get back to where I was basically about a year ago, and as of today I did lose 10 pounds so far, so getting closer. It's starting to see a little bit in my face, which is good, because one of the things when I put on even just a little bit of weight, it goes right to my face, and I get this sort of Charlie Brown, Ryan Johnson round head, which is like, you know, and it's just, yeah. It's definitely for the last couple months, every time I sort of glance myself in the videos, it's like, anyway, you guys don't care about that. Let's get on to the movies. So first up, no surprise, because some of you, I'm sure, already saw my review, and that is, of course, the new Arrow edition of An American Werewolf in London. I just did a review on this, so go and check it out, and basically, or if you're not interested in watching it, I will say it's awesome. Definitely a version to pick up. Another Arrow title that I did pick up is Toys Are Not for Children. This is a movie I actually saw at a midnight show a couple of years ago. It's one of those early 70s like sexploitation films, but it's really interesting. Like, I mean, it obviously has its limitations because of budget and sort of the exploitation aspect of it, but it really actually does have an interesting take on dealing with how you search for love in your life and the sometimes weird ways you can kind of blur the lines. It's actually much more interesting than it may seem on the surface. Again, that's Toys Are Not for Children from Arrow. I haven't actually watched the Blu-ray yet. I'm sure it looks as good as it probably could. Now, as some of you know, I am a huge Brian De Palma fan. Massive Brian De Palma fan. I mean, he's like literally one of my idols. So naturally, I had to pick up the new 4K release of Scarface. There was no way I was not going to get this. And in case you're wondering, yes, I actually did get the limited edition version for two reasons. One, it's for right now, I'm sure it'll get a single release down the road, but right now it's the only way you can get the original Howard Hawks version, which has been remastered for Blu-ray. So I definitely wanted to have that, and that really kind of made, you know, because it is like, the set is kind of like twice as much as just getting Scarface on its own, but it's like, I mean, having that on there, you know, if that was released on its own, I would have gotten that as well. And then obviously, yes, it's the one that did come with the swag, and that is the Scarface statue replica, which is actually kind of nice. It's basically just it's like a nice thick piece. It is what it is, you know. It's obviously not like a super high quality item, but it's actually not like super cheap either, you know, kind of in that middle ground. It'll actually be a nice little display piece I can put on one of my shelves. I'm thinking next to Nakatomi Plaza. Another one that came in is the new Blue Underground release of Two Evil Eyes with the, I don't know if, hope you can see it okay. Sorry about the lights. It does have the lenticular cover, and this is the anthology with one story by George Romero and the other one by Dario Argento. I haven't watched it yet, but from what I've heard, this is another winner in the more recent re-releases by Blue Underground. I've heard it looks absolutely amazing. And I can't remember if I put this in the last video or not, and I could probably go look it up, but I'm just going to throw it in here anyway. I did get in the new release of Chuck Russell's remake of The Blob from Scream Factory, and I did watch this the other night, and it looks really good. Now, it is an older master. I think it's actually the same one that was used on the Twilight Time release, but it looks so much better on here because it has better compression and everything. And you know, this is from Sony Masters, and they do amazing jobs on their transfers to begin with. And of course, they got a slew of new extras as well, and porting over some of the older ones. If you're a fan of this film like I am, I think you will really enjoy this release. And I kind of debated, but I actually did take advantage of the Scream Factory sale. Their, you know, the Shocktober Fest sale. Let's kind of go through these real quick. So first up is the classic giant tarantula movie, aptly named Tarantula, which I've wanted for a while. I'm so glad I finally got this. Next up is the movie Warning Signs, which I've been wanting to get, and I believe this is one of the titles was announced that I think the license is lapsing. I kind of want to go ahead and just get it just in case. Also, the release of the movie Screamers with the great Peter Weller and Jennifer Rubin. The Kurt Russell film The Chosen, which I haven't seen in a really long time, so I'm actually looking forward to kind of visiting this. I remember it's kind of weird and creepy. Finally got around to picking up the House on Haunted Hill remake. Now, the only problem about me waiting so long, which you may notice, is there's no slipcover. So, and I got the collector's edition of Silent Hill, which I haven't seen in actually a few years. I remember thinking it was like pretty good, but not as good as I kind of hoped it would be, but I'm kind of looking forward to revisiting it. And even though I do have the second sight release that has both the first and the sequel, I did go ahead and get the When a Stranger Calls Back. The main reason I got this too is the fact that the second sight release, if I'm not mistaken, actually has an older scan of the film, where I believe this one has a new transfer. So, which that was basically the selling point for me, and the price. And then finally, I'm not 100% sure, maybe some of you know, I think the IFC Midnight line with Scream Factory, that licensing may be coming to an end as well, because they seem to be getting rid of some of those older releases. So they had a couple that they were selling for $5, and I was going to get 2 of them. One of them actually sold out during my checkout process. These actually went really fast. But I did get Ghost Stories, which I was kind of wondering whether or not I should get this, but I looked it up, and a buddy of mine whose opinion I trust actually did like this movie. So figure, you know what, definitely worth $5. And of course, I am a Vinegar Syndrome subscriber. I'm hoping I can resubscribe next year. I don't actually think I've actually mentioned this in a video yet, but I actually did end up buying a new car a couple months ago. So the added car payment is actually making it a little rough on a lot of this stuff. To do that Vinegar Syndrome thing, I'm trying to. I definitely want to, because actually I do like having it. It's just a lot up front. But I did get the October titles in, and so first up is Beyond the Door 3. Now, I can't remember if this was an actual sequel or if it's actually just like one of those where it actually has another name, but they just sort of slapped on the Beyond the Door. Kind of like with Beyond the Door 2, which is actually, oh god, what is the title? I'm sure some of you will know. It's, because it's a Baba film. Is it Trauma? Or Shock? Isn't it Shock? And then, but it got released in the US as Beyond the Door 2. Now, the original Beyond the Door, the first one, I love. I mean, I know it's technically an Exorcist ripoff film, but in my opinion, a really good one. I actually think it's actually really creepy. Next up is Berserker, which I haven't seen in a while, so looking forward to checking that one again. And Unmasked Part 25. Now, I'm pretty sure I saw this many moons ago. I don't really remember much about it. It might be one of those while I'm watching it, and I'll be like, oh yeah. If I remember correctly, it's basically like, obviously, a takeoff. Hence the title. It's sort of a slasher film takeoff. So, that works for me. And obviously the big one this month is the Amityville sequel collection box set. As you can see on the side there, some of the titles and their little logo. And I don't know if it can pick up on camera, but there's a little gloss, not just to the title, but to the windows. Probably can't really pick that up. But again, it is one of the, you kind of open up the top, blood spray there, and then all the movies are housed inside. There's The Evil Escapes. Amityville, 1992, It's About Time. I don't think I'm doing these in the right order. Amityville, A New Generation. Finally, Amityville Dollhouse. And I did have a coupon, so obviously I did have to go back to Spirit Halloween at least once more. Actually, I think it went back twice more. So one of the things I did get was this very cool kind of replica of Sam's lollipop from Trick or Treat, which I like. And I did get, this is, I swear I've wanted these for one of these longest time, and that is a Freddy replica sweater, as you can see here. Red and green stripes. Now, the thing is, these are kind of overpriced. I think that's why I never got one, but the coupon actually took it. It was a decent coupon, so I actually took off enough where I kind of felt okay with getting it. And it's like, it's kind of one where I think I might set up a little mini Freddy Krueger display or something. Or I may just use it in maybe some videos, do some like Nightmare on Elm Street videos. I can kind of just put it on, why not? And something I actually got in a little while ago, and I forgot to mention this in the last video, and that is the new Monstars Creepshow Fluffy the Crate, figure set with the crate, which looks so cool. Here's a picture of the back. So you can see what it looks like. I am going to be opening this up eventually. As some of you know, I love Creepshow, and these Monstars figure sets have been amazing. They've done, I think it's the third one in the set, if I remember correctly. There's Nathan from Father's Day, and then the 2-pack from Something to Tide You Over, and of course now the crate. So hopefully they'll get around to the other 2. Although I would also like one of the Spectre, you know, the beginning and end. I would love them to do a figure of him as well. And then finally, a couple things which I don't know, some of you may be interested in, some of you may not. I did actually end up ordering a couple new gear items that I kind of felt I needed for some of this stuff that I'm doing. One of them, which I mentioned in a previous video where I was recording a video and it was not paying attention and the battery died, went to go put in a new battery, and sure enough, the other batteries I forgot to charge. So yeah, I wanted to make sure I didn't make that mistake again. I'm usually pretty good at charging batteries, but apparently I sort of spaced. So I did actually go ahead and get the Sony adapter for my camera. So for those of you who don't know, I do actually have a Sony FS7 that I could be using, but the problem is it does record in such a high quality format, which is fine, but I don't need such large files for doing simple stuff like this. So I actually use my Sony a7R II, which is a little small hybrid camera. And so this is just a plug that you can have. It sort of has like a mock, you can see it right there, it's like a mock battery that you basically put in the battery slot. And the thing is, when I'm not moving the camera like here where it's stable, where it's, you know, on the tripod and everything, this is perfect. I don't have to worry about the battery. Another thing that I got that I'm actually very, very excited that I will start be using quite a lot, not so much on these videos right here, because I think this is actually working out pretty good. I do have a Rode microphone on top of my camera, and because it is actually kind of close to me, I think it's actually working okay, but in other instances I definitely need. I have an older lav, but I kind of wanted something a little bit more, not easier to use, because I mean, using a lav isn't hard, but one that just kind of made it a little less cumbersome. Maybe that's probably the right word. And that is the Rode Wireless Go. And what's cool about these is it's internal rechargeable and has great runtime. Another thing, this thing's tiny. I mean, this thing is so small. For those of you who don't know how this works, so you do have 2. One goes on the camera, and then one is the one you actually have on you. So this is the one that you have on you, and what's cool about it is like a lot of cool things about it. One is that, again, it's very small, very lightweight, and you can use it several different ways. One, there's actually a built-in microphone here. So if you actually just wanted to use this, you kind of, you know, got it kind of close enough, or something, if you're wearing a jacket and, you know, have it here, you could literally just use this as a microphone. I did test it out, and it actually does sound really good, or it does have a port where you can put, you can attach a lav mic to, which is pretty much actually what I'm going to do most of the time anyway. Another thing is I did actually buy just this adapter cord for it as well, so that I could actually also plug this into my phone. That also opens up other opportunities to have, you know, me record something on my phone and have hopefully better audio quality. And then 2 other things I got. One of these I haven't tested out yet. That is this Delkid car mount, because according to Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers, car videos are the new big thing. And considering they now have over 200,000 subscribers, I'm going to take their word for it. And then finally, one last piece of gear that I picked up is actually a new LED light, which I have set up actually right behind me over here. You can't see my shadow because lights back there. And it actually kind of something that sort of worked out really well. It was one that, if I remember correctly, was actually sort of part of B&H's deal of the day, you know, their deal zone for like 24 hours. And the thing is, it's sort of a budget light on some end, but I have a couple other budget LED lights and they all work actually really fine. The thing I liked about this one is that it has a little bit of flexibility because it's so flat. So you can put it somewhere, you can kind of bend the outer frame a little bit. It really helps, but the thing that also surprised me once I got it in is, one, how good the light is that it gives off. It does have a variable color temperature, meaning you can go from 3200 Kelvin to 5600 Kelvin. It's dimmable, and that's kind of the main thing, is the fact that right now, for example, behind me, all the light back here, outside of the little tiny LED lights that I have behind like the statues back there, all the other light, well, a little bit maybe coming from this one here, but not much. This is a very small light. That's my key light right now. Light back here, which is lighting up almost all of this, it's about 15% right now. This thing kicks off a lot of light. And I'm thinking once the studio is set up, I'm thinking of actually moving this light into that room and have that be my key light for when I'm in there. And this light is the, let me look it up. What the hell is this thing called? Obviously I came prepared for this. It is the Draycast Yoga Series. LED 500 bicolor flexible panel. I've used it now a couple times actually, and I'm really impressed with it. The only thing I kind of don't like is the back of it. It's kind of Velcro, and that's how it basically connects to the base plate that has all the dials and everything on it. I don't know how long the Velcro will last sort of in the long term, but aside from that, I'm actually really impressed with this light. So that wraps up this video. It's a little bit longer than some of the other ones, so thank you for sticking with me through this whole time. But I had kind of a lot of stuff to sort of squeeze in here. Let me know your thoughts on anything I picked up, or if you've picked up something, by all means tell me all about it. I love hearing what other people get. I love seeing other people's pickups videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.